Alex McCracken and Stephen Rowell have teamed up to open a brand new restaurant in Fort Irwin. It's called Features Brasserie. Now, we're pleased to have both of them with us today and to spend a few minutes with us. Alex and Stephen, really nice to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having us, Mike.
Glad to. Now, the two of you have a really fine history of food preparation in the Highlands, and I'm wondering how the two of you came together. Alex, maybe you could tell us how that came about.
Well, my family's been coming up to the Halberton Highlands for years, and Steve and I crossed paths, I think, when we were about 16 years old at the Midnight Madness, believe it or not. And the story just goes on from there.
Wow. So you fellas have been together a long time, or known each other for a long time. And now the two of you are all grown up.
Sure. Okay.
Kinda.
Grown up and haven't matured.
So, Stephen, tell me, how did the idea for Features Brasserie come about?
Well, me and Alex were looking around at a few locations in town to open up something. And where I live in Eagle Lake by Parsons Road, in the middle of February, I was watching and counting all these trade trucks, 74 to 78 of them every day. And I says, there's a lot of activity happening up in Fort Irwin. And I knew this location was sitting available. So I spoke with Alex and the owner of the property, and it sort of progressed from there.
Marvelous. So it was a pretty simple process.
Well, yes, but coming up with the ideas of what we wanted, we spent a lot of time over the last 4 months cleaning and working on the property, but meeting a lot of the residents in the area to get feedback on what they thought they were looking for.
I'll bet
sort of advised our own ideas and twists on it. Myself, from 37 years in the industry, I was once told this line that a true restaurateur's job is to educate their customers. So doing something a little different and educating them on new styles and new ways of creating food and pairing with my favorite wines and spirits.
Now, Alex, for those of us who aren't very schooled in the terminology, what exactly is a brasserie?
Well, brasserie is the French term, would be for like a public house, or a place where you could get fine food, good spirits, and good place to come and meet people.
Yeah. People know a pub or public house, which is more of the British style. And then when you're in cities, you drive through certain neighborhoods, you'll see Italian trattorias. That's the Italian version, where a brasserie is the French version of the same idea. The cafe with quality fresh food, that is quality wines and spirits as well, and craft cocktails.
So, Stephen, building off of that, what is the focus to differentiate Features Brasserie from other eating places throughout the Highlands?
Well, pretty much, not necessarily in the Highlands, but everywhere. I've seen this trend over the years where a lot of restaurants are obviously focused on making money, but so they raise their prices and make the portions larger to compensate. Where I love Alex's line, we're here to feed you, not fatten you up. So we chose to try to keep our prices down and make the portions a little bit smaller,
but the quality
quality. It's a lot of what we've done is in the small details, of using quality products and just balancing it all out instead of skimping on lower quality food.
I was looking at your Facebook page, and the social media comments have been really positive from people that have been there and enjoyed the atmosphere, enjoyed the food. And I'm wondering, how do you feel about this start, the first couple of weeks? Alex, are you happy with how it's taking off?
Mike, I can't express how both Stephen and I are being welcomed within the Fort Irwin community. The support we've had from the Hammonds that run the garden center across the road, John and Michelle that run the Fort Irwin Marina, and just the residents, how they've said, it's nice to have this place back to a family feel where they can bring their children or bring their mother for a light lunch. We've been, I think, well received with open arms.
And you've been certainly well received by residents more farther flung as well. Some of the
Yes.
some of the comments are from people that live in very diverse areas in the Highlands and beyond. So that must be kind of pleasing.
This past weekend, I had 3 friends from my old stomping grounds in Brasserie come up and visit and wish us well for that, which was very exciting to see.
That's marvelous. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
Now,
And
Stephen,
it's great for the community too, because even growing up in Halliburton, I always felt that Fort Irwin was so far away. But actually spending more time up here since when I was in my low teens, I've realized just actually how close Fort Irwin is to Halliburton. The way the county has fixed up the Harbin Road, we're only 20 kilometers away. So it actually brings us a lot closer to the rest of the county than even I imagined.
well, I would think the other aspect, Stephen, is that you're destined to be a destination. So people will take those extra few minutes because they want something a little more unique.
Mm.
Now,
That's
tell
for
me, Stephen, how does local food and local produce providers work into the menu?
We try to use as much local and close by as we can. Just down the road, we have Tanya with Winter Dance, dog sledding, that we use her maple syrup as part of our, with breakfast with the pancakes and French toast. She's so close, and I know her clientele in the winter with the dog sledding is going to be a staple part of our business. And then spent time working with Oliver of Rowell Elixir, who's a local coffee roaster. And I spent hours with him, allowing him to educate me on coffee and taking the knowledge that he gave me to play with all his different beans and come up with an exclusive blend that we've created just for us, where I wanted a quality coffee, because a good cup of coffee goes a long ways.
Washes down a good breakfast.
Yeah, and have something that'll fit 90%, 95% of the population, but there's those other 5% of those aficionados that want a good cup to have something that satisfies them. And working with some of the ingredients over at Abbey Gardens, some of their fresh locally milled flours, not plant flours, the grain that we incorporate into our pancakes, and we're working on some other recipes to use it in more of our pastries. And as we move forward, myself being a sommelier, I'm a huge fan and supporter of all the small Ontario wineries. So as we get our liquor license in a few weeks, we'll be carrying all these international award-winning Ontario craft wineries. And I have so many wineries, the winemakers, that want to come up and visit us. And in those travels of discovering these wineries, I've discovered these amazing Ontario craft distilleries. So all my spirits will be coming from these small little spirit producers with their liquors and cures, all from Ontario. And obviously craft beers, local craft beers. So trying to keep a lot of it as in Ontario or as local to the direct community as we can. And we'll be sourcing out more, and we're negotiating with different suppliers right now.
It's a great strategy, and there's no doubt that Oliver makes great coffee. And,
Indeed.
And the blend that we came up with it's phenomenal. Even Oliver, when I gave him my sort of final proportions, it was nice to have somebody with his knowledge of coffee come back to me and say, Steve, like, this is amazing. It's dead on.
Talking about unique things, Alex, I understand your pickle soup is one of the unique dishes offered. And how long have you been making this soup, and why is it so good?
I started making that soup probably when I was still doing my apprenticeship in Alberta. And I ran into 2 ladies, one Polish and one Ukrainian. And they taught me a version of that soup. And I maybe added a little of this, taken away that. But I don't know. It just seems to be one of those comfort foods. And I invite anybody to come up and get pickled one bowl at a time.
Good for you. And Stephen, how about yourself?
And that was a stipulation with Alex when we were discussing a partnership that the pickle soup has to be our staple.
That's wonderful. And Stephen, do you have a favorite dish that you bring to the menu?
A lot of it are little tweaks and stuff, but I'd say our Moroccan lamb sliders are one of our true signature dishes, and our fish and chips. You know, just with the different style of the way we do our fish and chips, and the Moroccan lamb sliders with a little bit of that Moroccan seasoning spice with the fresh lamb, and finished off with a homemade tzatziki. Just cleans your palate and makes you want to have another one and another one and another one.
I've been looking at the pictures on your Facebook page of the different food offerings, and I must say they make me want to come and partake. They look absolutely delicious, and I'm sure they are.
And that is one of our things that we want to plan on creating our specials, our daily features, and posting them out on social media each morning so people know what the offer is for that day.
Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a delight to talk to both of you again. You're certainly well known throughout the county, and now people have a brand new reason to come and say hello, and we wish you every success in the endeavor. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Mike.
Thanks,
Good
Mike.
to see you again.
Yeah.
Alex McCracken and Stephen Rowell are the owners and gastronomical wizards at Features Brasserie. It's in Fort Irwin. You can check them out on Facebook, or if you like, you can go to their webpage, and that's features-brasserie.com. You'll enjoy it. It'll build an appetite.